What if the key to saving your marriage is already within you, but you're just not using it? Meaning you have all the skills you already need, and it's not actually becoming a new man, but just being that guy you already are. You limit your own potential and prevent your own greatness that she desperately needs from you to feel safety and love. But what if you could harness this other aspect of yourself automatically and whenever you want to be your most relaxed, authentic, and confident self? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to unlock a hidden skill called affective resilience. This is a silent superpower that helps you stay calm under pressure. It helps you navigate those difficult conversations with ease and flow and show up as a strong, dependable man your wife needs. It's how you flip the script on divorce and win her back for good. The concepts in this video will give you unshakable confidence that make you irresistible in her eyes. It's the art of rebuilding trust, making her crave your presence like you were back in the honeymoon phase. And I will help you uncover advanced techniques that diffuse tension and turn everyday conversations into powerful moments of connection, where even the toughest talks blossom into deep, lasting intimacy. And I'll start by explaining what affective resilience is, followed by 3 practical ways to use it with your wife. Then at the end of this video, I will show you how to build this high-level AR in yourself using 7 practical exercises that you can use. So affective resilience is like emotional intelligence 2.0. It's about being aware of your emotions and having the flexibility to adapt with ease and precision, responding in the moment to get the best outcome you are searching for. Picture it like a rubber band. You stretch and adapt without snapping. When tension builds, whether through a heated conversation or an emotional outburst, you don't break. You absorb the impact and bounce back to a calm, grounded state. This resilience shows your wife that you can handle both her emotions and your own with confidence, stability, structure, no matter how tough things get. And believe me, things will get tough and then better and then tough again, because progress is never a straight line. But with what I'm about to show you, you'll be able to handle these ups and downs like a pro. You'll become the best version of yourself, not just for your own growth, but to transform how you show up in your marriage. The first of the 3 practical applications for effective resilience are for the stages of the relationship when you are kind of like the villain in her eyes. This is stage 1 to 2 in our 5 stages video that you can check at the end of this one. This is a pivotal moment where it's crucial to resist the urge to seek validation or reassurance. Applying the AR here, when every fiber of your being is telling you to act otherwise, can be incredibly challenging. But mastering this will create curiosity in her and reset the dynamic between the two of you, giving you a powerful advantage in rebuilding the connection again. The part of AR I'm talking about is effective space. You must create emotional and physical distance to reduce tension and let the relationship breathe. The analogy that's going to go best with this is to picture a relationship as like having this room. Now, if the room is cluttered with constant gestures, messages, and attempts to win her back, it becomes overwhelming and she's suffocating. She doesn't feel safe, which is, by now you should know, that's her biggest need to be with you. The effective space is like decluttering the room, removing all the unnecessary noise and giving her the freedom to move around and choose how she wants to engage. But creating space is just the first step of the effective resilience skill. It lays the foundation, the magic that grows with the second principle. Applying this will make her feel more connected to you than she's ever been. Let's dive deep into what it looks like. I call it effective stability. Now, to set up the second principle, I want to share Frank's story. It was Frank's passion and personality that first drew his wife to him. She loved his fiery spirit, his zest for life, and the way he could just light up a room. But with his passionate nature came a heated temper as well, something he'd inherited from his father, who inherited it from his father before him. So there's the generational stuff, right? He swore he would never let it get the best of him, that he wouldn't become an out-of-control man that he witnessed as a child. But there were moments in his marriage where he knew he was failing. It would start as a minor disagreement, maybe about the kids or the bills or just, the typical stuff, chores, if you will. And before he knew it, that anger would just flare up like a wildfire. And every time they had a big argument, he would just storm out of the room, fuming and desperate for space. He'd end up in the basement guest room, laying on the bed, his mind spinning, just rolling around, right? Just couldn't slow himself down. His wife's words would echo in his mind. Yeah, just walk away like you always do. It wasn't long before her comments about his behavior became a pattern of their own. As he would lay there staring at the ceiling, he'd feel just gnawing guilt. He knew he should go back upstairs, apologize, and just make things right with his wife. That voice was telling him he should, but the other part of him was like a cage locked over the right part, if you will. And after all the best marriage advice from couples we've been together for decades was always never go to bed angry. And yet here he was again, lying in the dark. Sometimes he'd fall asleep by accident. Other times it was on purpose, letting his pride keep him away. Then came the night where everything changed. An argument over something as trivial as just folding the laundry. It quickly escalated. wasn't about the laundry. It's never about the laundry, right? The tension between them just had been building for years, and this time the dam broke. His wife looked at him with a weariness he'd never seen before in her eyes and just apathy. And she said the words, "I'm finished. I don't love you anymore." Frank felt like the ground had been ripped from under him. He was devastated. "What do you mean you don't love me anymore?" He stammered out of his mouth. But deep down he knew. His mind flashed back to all those nights where he'd walked away, shut down, and refused to communicate. He thought his aggressive behavior was just a harsh masculine trait, but in that moment, he realized it was something else entirely. Before I reveal what that was, which I'll do shortly, I want to highlight a clear pattern that Frank had to learn the hard way. Whenever conflict arose and things got heated, he'd retreat to the basement, the guest room, right? And often wouldn't come back. But over time, his wife had enough. This might seem like an extreme example, but it's more common than you think. The principle here we're talking about is having affective stability. When you master high levels of AR, you stay calm and composed no matter how intense the situation. This makes you a safe place, de-escalating conflict and showing her she can trust you to handle her emotions. In turn, it strengthens her connection and sense of security in the relationship. Frank once believed his aggression was just a part of being a strong man, but in a moment of clarity, he realized it was something else. It was fear. Fear of facing his emotions, fear of vulnerability with his wife. He'd mistaken control for strength, but now saw it was actually him running away. When she forced him to move out, Frank ended up in a small, lonely apartment, seeing his kids every other weekend. The shadow of his father's mistakes loomed large, and he knew he had to change for himself, his wife, and his children. Determined to break that cycle, what Frank did was he sought out help and worked hard on the affective resilience skill. He learned to recognize his triggers, and he learned how to respond differently. It was tough, uncomfortable, but he embraced it and slowly became someone new. At kid drop-offs, Frank would stay calm, composed, and present. He didn't try to fix things or defend himself. He just listened when his wife would blow up on him, right? He started showing up as a fun, easygoing self again. That self that attracted his wife in the first place, having fun, being joyful, being humorous. Then came the moment that would have sent old Frank spiraling. His wife got upset over something so minor. And the old Frank would have thrown his hands up, right? Maybe he'd say something like, "Fine, whatever, I'm done," walk away. But not this time. His wife, clearly frustrated, said, "I can't believe you forgot to pick up the dry cleaning again. I have to do everything myself. You haven't changed." But instead of going to his old MO, Frank took a deep breath, grounded himself, saw roots coming out of his feet in his mind. Instead of reacting, he responded with, "I hear you. I know it's frustrating that I dropped the ball. Sorry you feel that way, and I'm going to go get it right now." That's it. His wife paused, surprised by his calm tone, and said, "Yeah, but you always say that and nothing ever changes." Because she saw his changes, but she still wanted to test it, as you know about tests on this channel. Frank stayed steady, looking at her and said, "You're right. I said it before, but this time I'm working on it. I'm trying to show you that I understand how much this has affected you. You shouldn't have to feel this way." He mirrored her emotions, not defending himself, not using logic or any of that, trying to fix things, but simply was present, understood her emotions, and reflected that back like a mirror. She looked at him, and for the first time in a long time, saw someone who wasn't running away, someone who understood her, what she was seeking this whole time. She was stunned. Like, who was this guy? She didn't say anything, but she was silent, which is some of the best responses you can get from your wife. But slowly over time, Frank broke that cycle of his father's legacy. He became a better husband, a better father, and a better man, and it saved his marriage. But what truly transformed things wasn't just staying calm. It was something else he mastered, something that made his wife feel deeply understood and sparked that closeness that they had been missing for years. The most important thing in a marriage is not communication, but connection. When partners feel heard and understood, they develop a bond that can weather any storm. That's from Dr. John Gottman, one of the best marriage relationship researchers in the world. I'm sure you've heard of him. And the idea here behind that quote is affective attunement. It's the ability to be deeply present and emotionally attuned with your partner's feelings, listening, validating, and helping them feel truly heard and understood. Now, research by Dr. John Gottman highlights how crucial this skill is for building deeper connections in relationships. When you finally understand the emotions and thoughts behind the words she's saying, you establish trust by creating a safe, connected space and environment. Now, Gottman defines attunement with the acronym ATTUNE, okay? Pretty simple. Awareness of your partner's emotions, turning towards the emotion rather than avoiding it, tolerance of differing viewpoints, trying to understand your partner's feelings, non-defensive responding, and empathy. Just in those moments, what's important to do is that when don't listen to, you can hear her words, and a part of your brain can capture onto and hear the logic. But there's another part of your brain that can see just how she's feeling with her nonverbal reactions and respond to that, show up for her. It's a game changer. But there's another level to this that most men overlook. So imagine taking those moments of tension, right, and using them to create a spark of connection. The next principle will show you how to turn the very challenges that threaten your relationship into opportunities for closeness. It's effective playfulness. Now, welcome to the advanced part of the video. What I'm about to share with you takes more than just understanding. It does require practice until it becomes second nature, until it becomes unconsciously competent, flows naturally from your interactions with her. Because here's the truth. Women will always test their men. It's a subconscious way to ensure he's showing up as his highest self. And now that you're making these changes, you better believe she's going to test you and say that they aren't happening. But here's the thing. You can view everything as a test. Whenever she's not celebrating with you and feminine, she's testing you. Even when she says something like, I'm over, or it's over, I'm done. Yeah, I made a detailed video on passing her tests that you can watch at the very end of this one as well, but I'll put that one in the stages video. But you just have to know that a test is an evolutionary rite of initiation. It's a challenge to see if you are your best self. So she will say you are not. She will test you to see if you are. She will challenge your sense of self. And if you react to her, if you become emotional, you fail. And she realizes that the change isn't permanent. But this principle also goes deeper. It's the most advanced way to pass her tests, embracing the fourth level of effective resilience. And I call it effective playfulness. It's being able to pass her tests with humor and lightheartedness. This takes effective stability to a whole new level because not only are you unreactive to her harsh words, but you're bouncing them back like just with rock solid nature, right? You're almost using like those tests as like clay to develop into the man you are. Right? She's giving you opportunities to prove yourself. That's how you need to see it. And using humor and lightheartedness, it more than anything shows how much her reactions or tests you don't affect you. Now, in the modern remake of Roadhouse, recently saw it, so that's what I'm using here. It was the one with Jake Gyllenhaal. There's a hilarious moment near the end where when Jake is, I think he's a captive and he's being brought onto the big boss's boat, right? And one of the scrawnier henchmen, he awkwardly punches him in the face, trying to look intimidating. But instead of reacting with like anger or even acknowledging the punch at all, Jake just smiles it off as if it were just cute and insignificant. Love that scene. His calm, almost just unamused reaction disarms the situation completely, showing he's not threatened or even moved in the slightest. This is the essence of effective playfulness. It's about taking those metaphorical punches your wife might throw your way in the form of harsh words or frustration, and instead just responding with lightheartedness, showing her that you're steady and unshaken no matter what. It's crucial to note there's a clear distinction, by the way, between lighthearted responses and accepting hurtful behavior. I want you to have your boundaries of disrespect and be able to assert that as well. Because playfulness can diffuse tension, but you must know what your boundaries are and never accept any form of physical or emotional abuse. So I'll throw that in. Now, healthy resilience isn't about tolerating harmful actions, but more about staying composed while addressing the situation firmly and respectfully. This playful confidence not only diffuses tension, but also turns challenging moments into opportunities for deeper connection and attraction. So how do you apply this skill? Well, I'm going to show you 4 ways. And the first one is absurd exaggeration. Taking your statement and turning it into something so exaggerated that it becomes funny and impossible to take seriously. So here's an example. If she says, you never listen to me, you'll say, you're right, I'm actually just a hologram. And here's, just like, oh, I can't touch myself, right? My real body's somewhere else on the beach. The key is to keep it light and clearly absurd, so it's understood as a joke. But if you come across too sarcastic, there's a chance you might get slapped in the face like Jake Gyllenhaal. So afterwards, you can validate what she's saying, right? Showing that you really are listening to her, but you just initially start with that humor to like not take it defensively, right? It's the opposite effect. Being over literal is the next one, acting as if you're taking her words literally and go overboard with your response. So here's an example. If she says, you always leave your socks on the floor, you'll say, I've been trying to start just a modern art installation, right? It's over there, right? Chaos of laundry. It's a statement on the entropy of daily life. So it turns the frustration into something humorous. I know I don't have the best sense of humor, of course, but use your own humor to just make things light at first, not take it as seriously, and then you can go into understanding and taking action on it. The third one is self-deprecation, making a lighthearted joke at your own expense that shows you're not taking your test too seriously. So the example is, if she says, you're acting like a child, you say, I know, right? I'm surprised that they even let me out there without any adult supervision. This approach works well when done with good humor and genuine affection, showing that you can laugh at yourself. Last one is game on, which creates a fun challenge out of the situation, making her test feel like something you both can laugh about. So example, if she says, you always forget to take out the trash, you say, all right, starting now, I'm on a mission. Every time I take out the trash, I get a point. If I reach 10 points, I get a prize. You cannot be the judge. Deal? This approach can turn a criticism into a playful challenge. When you can turn these tense moments into opportunities for a playful interaction, you're not just passing her tests, you're showing her that you're a man who can handle her emotions and stand firm, making her feel safe, understood, and deeply connected. Again, use your own sense of humor and don't use my awful sense of humor, right? Those are my examples that I would do, but everyone has their own sense of humor, so you know what hers is. So just try it out instead of getting defensive. This gets easier once you do it effectively, and it enhances the affective resilience skill using these practical exercises. I told you earlier that there are 7 practical ways to enhance affective resilience. Building high-level AR is all about getting a handle on your emotions and understanding them more deeply, as well as improving your ability to understand and empathize with hers. So here are the practical exercises to help enhance affective resilience. The first one is mindfulness meditation. I know you've heard about this, but spend 5 to 10 minutes a day. If you don't have 5 to 10 minutes a day, you don't have a life. Just simply breathe, follow your breath, watch the thoughts go by, and you're going to create this distance between how you react and how you respond. Responding is the man you want to be. The second one is journaling. Okay, obviously this is a computer, but at the end of the day, simply write out, just like a diary, write out how you feel, what you want out of life. Use that diary or that journal to process your thoughts so you can move past them and moving forward with understanding yourself, which is the key to change. The third is to have this ability to name your emotions. Whenever you're experiencing something in your body and you just feel flooded, the greater the ability you have to name what's going on, it punctuates it, which means when you can name it, understand it, it then goes away. So you're like, oh, I have anxiety right now. Okay, cool. I understand that. And then the anxiety goes away. That's how emotional intelligence works. The fourth one is to practice active listening. The next time you're talking to someone, simply like, instead of thinking in your own head how you want to respond or what's in your mind or what you want from the interaction, put all your attention onto them. See them for the first time without any labels in your head. This allows you to create that attunement and that deep connection with anyone in your life, and they will feel completely differently by the way you look at them. The fifth one is called empathy mapping. I want you to imagine the situation from another person's perspective. Ask yourself, why are they feeling what they're feeling? What makes them feel this way with who they are? If I was in their shoes, would I feel the same way? The purpose here is to cultivate empathy and a deeper understanding of other people's emotions and perspectives, to not get lost and mired into your own selfish view of things, which disconnects you from others. The sixth skill is to pause and reflect. So when you notice yourself getting emotionally reactive, take a deep breath and pause before responding. You don't have to respond immediately to people. You can take that moment. And oftentimes what I see is high status people, often they pause before they talk. You'll see Elon Musk do this a lot in interviews. And the seventh one is to role play difficult conversations. Now, whenever you're able to role play a difficult conversation with someone, you get immediate feedback from another person's perspective on what you're doing wrong. And that is vital. And that's why our program works so well, is because we have our trained coaches who have seen and had thousands of conversations with men in your exact situation. So if you want that opportunity to save your marriage, click the link down below, set up a free call with our team to make sure you're fully committed to saving your marriage. So there should be 2 videos at the end of this video. There should be the stages video and the testing video right here. Both of my favorite actually videos on the channel. So I would check out one of those and then watch the other one after that. Thanks for watching. Set up a call if you need help, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.